Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2023 Toyota 4Runner SR5. And this is a car that's a bit of a mystery to me because, first of all, it's very old. This 5th generation 4Runner originally debuted for the 2010 model year, making this like the 14th year that it's been in production, which in car years makes it about 186. The engine and the transmission have remained unchanged as far as the 4-liter V6 and the 5-speed automatic go. Again, very old technology, but somehow the 4Runner remains popular. In fact, 2021 was the 4Runner's best-selling year ever, going all the way to the vehicle's inception for the 1984 model year. So today I'm going to try to figure out why this car is as popular as it is by reviewing it. We're going to look at the styling, we're going to look at that engine and the transmission, we'll measure out the cargo space, we'll look at the third row seat, the passenger room, the convenience features, and the safety features. And as always, if some of that sounds interesting and some of it sounds boring, check the description below for timestamps. Now, I'm going to start by talking about the styling on the Toyota 4Runner because I have to be honest, I think that this is probably one of the big reasons why people buy these things. And I have to admit, it looks great. It's basically like a Tonka truck came to life. You've got all kind of squares and lines and cuts, and it looks bulky and big and brawny and fun. And yeah, it really is a cool looking SUV, and it is a very nice alternative to the myriad of sort of soft-sided, swoopy-shaped, smooth, curved crossovers that dominate the marketplace these days. There is a certain old school look, and it's matched by an old school feel. I really feel like the 4Runner looks like how it should look and how it is. And I think there's an honesty there that I really like. It looks big, it looks bold, it looks brash, it looks fun, and quite frankly, it is all of those things when it comes down to driving it and living with it. So I think the styling is fantastic, and I'm sure that's why a lot of you who probably already bought one of these things and just want to have your opinion validated bought the cars in the first place. So good job, I agree with your decision. Now we're going to talk about the engine and the transmission, and all new Toyota 4Runners come with the same engine, a 4-liter V6, which makes 270 horsepower, 278 pound-feet of torque, and they all come with the same transmission, 5-speed automatic, regardless if it's a 2-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive model. Now this engine has been unchanged since this car debuted in 2010. Back then on the early 5th gen ones, Toyota's 2.7-liter truck 4-cylinder engine was available in the base models, but thankfully they discontinued that because that engine is terrible. Go ahead and get salty about it in the comments. I don't care. I know they last a long time. There's no reason why the power output is as low as it is and the 4-cylinder is as unrefined as it is. But thankfully, the V6 does not have any of those problems. Although 270 horsepower is not a large amount of specific output for a modern V6, it certainly is enough and it gets the job done. And this 6-cylinder is quite refined as well. The 5-speed automatic, even though it maybe could use another gear or two, is also very good. It shifts smoothly. And yes, I do admit, of course, this powertrain should be extremely reliable on the long term, as long as you take care of it and don't abuse it too badly. So I do give high marks to the powertrain in this 4Runner. Despite its age, it still works extremely well. Now we're going to measure out the cargo space, so let me find my handy-dandy laser tape measure and we'll do just that. Well, it's almost non-existent, but I measured it out anyway. The length of the rear cargo area with the third row seat up is about 8 inches. The length of the cargo area with the second row seat up, but the third row seat folded flat, 3 feet. The width of the cargo area at its widest point, right at the rear of the cargo area, 4 feet and 7 inches. The width of the cargo area at the narrower point in between the wheel wells right there, 3 feet and 7 inches. The length of the cargo area with the third row and the second row seat folded down, 5 feet and 9 inches approximately, and I say approximately because that's the measurement to the rear of the front seat. So depending on where you have that front seat positioned, you may have a little more or a little less space. It's in kind of a midway point right now, and you will see that it's almost a flat load floor, but there is a little bit of a hump there, but pretty good, honestly, for a body-on-frame vehicle. Looks like I have my driver's seat back too far for that one to fold down, but you can see it's a little bit of a hump, but it's not bad. The height of the rear cargo area on the Toyota 4Runner, 2 feet and 10 inches. And if you need to lift something into the rear of your Toyota 4Runner, you're going to have to lift it 2 feet and 8 inches off of the ground. It is kind of a high lift over, but not horrible. I will point out that underneath here, that is a full-size spare tire mounted under the chassis. And right here are some tools and a jack to do the spare tire thing. We have a household style power outlet and a 12-volt cigarette lighter style power outlet in the rear as well. And let's see if there's anything in here. That is for contraband or other drugs. It's hard to open with one hand. See, that's a hidey hole. You can't even open it with one hand. And then you have a Toyota First Aid Kit as a standard feature as well on a new 4Runner, and some little square cup holders for our third row passengers. So that is the cargo area in a new Toyota 4Runner SR5. There, I got that thing open. It really is just for contraband. All right, now we're gonna have a look at the third row seats in this Toyota 4Runner. So first I'm gonna show you how to put them into place. We have these big handles here on the back of the third row. Lift up on that all the way and then pull, and we deploy the seat. And then we look down here and we see that we have a cushion that's kind of hiding. So to get that out into place, we just lift up, pull and push. And now we have the third row seat deployed. There's a headrest right here that we can lift up and put into place like so. Now, as you can see, once we have the third row seat up, there's really hardly any cargo room, but there is some amount of leg room there. I wouldn't be sitting back there, but you definitely could put smaller people, kids back there. That second row seat is adjustable. So this is with that second row seat put all the way back. And the leg room really isn't bad. There might be 5 or 6 inches of it there. So, you know, little kids or shorter people, they'll be just fine back here. Now, when it comes to folding them down, pull that first. And then all you have to do is pull up on this. And as you can see, the bottom of the seat goes away and we have a flat load floor. So there you go. That's the third row seat in a new Toyota 4Runner. Now we're going to have a look at the passenger space, at least in the first and second row. And for this, I like to use myself. I'm 6'5", so let's see if I can sit behind myself in a Toyota 4Runner. So this vehicle is actually very roomy for me. As I sit in the front, you can see my knees are not touching. I do have good headroom. And if I get out, plenty of room in the second row as well. My knees are not touching. I have headroom. It's a comfortable second row seat. Very roomy cabin in the Toyota 4Runner. Despite its advanced age, it is showing very good space utilization, especially for a body-on-frame vehicle. So I commend Toyota's talented engineers for that. Now we're going to move on to the interior of the Toyota 4Runner, and I'm going to start by talking about the back seats. We do have air vents for our second row passengers, as well as USB ports for our second row passengers. And there's a little fold down armrest in the center there so that they can get comfortable in the back seat if there's only 2 of them. And the back seat is adjustable fore and aft to make room for the people in the third row if you are using the third row seats at that time. Now we're going to start talking about the features in the front seat where I'm currently sitting. And whenever I review one of these cars, I always look through the spec sheets for the vehicle on the manufacturer's website to see what really sticks out to me. And what really stuck out to me on this 2023 4Runner SR5 were the Optitron instrumentation gauges. They're just gauges. I don't know why Toyota felt the need to give them such a fancy name, but those are the Optitron gauges. If you had seen that on the list like me and thought, wow, I wonder what that looks like, it just looks like a Speedo and a tack. It's no big deal. Now, we also do have an 8-inch touchscreen with standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on here. You do have to plug your phone in to get the Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto to work. It's not wireless, but it is there, it is standard, and it is nice that Toyota finally started putting CarPlay and Android Auto into their cars. They were a little tardy to the party on that one. They were trying to use their own sort of Toyota Entune system that nobody really liked, so CarPlay and Android Auto are better. Another thing I'd like to point out, just because there aren't a whole ton of features up here to talk about, but I like the sort of knobs for the climate control system. The brochure will tell you that they're that big so that you can operate them with gloves on, which is true enough, but it does kind of add to the Tonka toy aesthetic and appeal. You kind of feel like a little kid driving this, and it does make me happy, and they're very easy to operate as well. Now, because this is a base model SR5 4Runner, it does not have a sunroof, but we do have a power rear window. That's something that my buddy who drives one of these really loves. He told me to make sure to open that every chance that I got. Unfortunately, it's been raining almost the whole time that I've had this car, so I haven't had too many chances to do that, but that's what it looks like when it's open. Another hilarious feature to me on this car is the digital clock. Not that there's anything wrong with having a digital clock in an automobile, but good Lord, this one just seems so outdated with the H and M buttons to adjust the time. I'm sure that it's probably the same part number that Toyota used in a 1989 4Runner. Now we'll talk about the safety features, and the 4Runner SR5 does come standard with a variant of Toyota's Safety Sense system. On this car will do forward collision warning, forward automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, adaptive cruise control, and automatic high beam headlamps. It should be noted that the adaptive cruise control on this car will only operate at speeds above 20 miles per hour. It's not able to bring the vehicle to a complete stop. That is a disappointment for me, because the adaptive cruise on like a Corolla hybrid will bring the car to a complete stop, but the 4Runner won't do it. It is what it is. Thank you so much for watching my video on this 2023 Toyota 4Runner. In conclusion, I actually do realize why people really like this thing so much. It's a cool car to drive, it's a cool car to look at, it's a cool car to be in. It has a very sort of adventurous feel to it, and I get it. And quite frankly, if you did buy one, it's probably worth the money, because even though they're rarely discounted on new Toyota dealer lots, the flip side of that is they hold their value extremely well, so your resale value should be very, very strong. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching my video. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.